pain. Every second of every day, I'm in pain. Sometimes it's a dull ache at the back of my mind, and other times it's this throbbing, stabbing agony that keeps me bedridden. And I'm always exhausted. Next year will be the 10th anniversary of my official diagnosis, and I literally have forgotten what it feels like to be energetic. It started in 7th grade. Sometimes I'd experience this random shooting pain in my leg, and I wondered, did I twist my ankle during recess? I'm so athletic, so. But the pain would kind of come and go, so I ignored it. Just growing pains, nothing to see here, no problems, nothing to worry about, right? Going into the 8th grade, I started to feel generally unwell. So I'd have an intense stomach ache, a pain here and there, crippling headache. So I started going to the school nurse more often than she deemed normal. And I'll never forget when she finally turned to me. She sighs in frustration and asked me, "Have you been diagnosed with anything mentally wrong with you?" And I'll never forget, because that's when I started to wonder myself. I must be a hypochondriac. I'm just looking for attention. I'm making it up and it's all in my head. I started to ignore it and to stop mentioning it, to pretend it just wasn't there. So I joined Color Guard in high school, with the flags and everything with the marching band, and I absolutely loved it. It was great. But toward the end of my second season, I started having wrist and shoulder pain, too severe to continue. So I joined the choir, but then I was struggling to stand for the, few hour performances. So I began to feel more exhausted. I started to go to the choir director and the band director's offices to rest during periods. And pretty soon I started seeing a chiropractor for back pain, and this is all, beginning of high school. I felt like I was hanging on by a thread, and it was really hard, but I got through it and I graduated. The first semester of college, I got the flu. A really bad flu, one that I had to go to the ER for. And I just really never got better. So I'd like you all to imagine your worst, most devastating flu, and you never get better. So there's no bouncing back. It doesn't go away, no Tamiflu. You don't, wake up in a week and go, I feel great, right? My body ached, and those pains that I'd felt for years intensified. They now shoot up and down my body like lightning and fire mixed in this pure hell. I felt nauseous all the time. I was beyond exhausted, and this was a new realm of agony. I began missing classes when the pain in my legs and back was just so severe that I was unable to stand. So I started getting these medical escort rides from campus security to get to class. The campus is really hilly, and I couldn't make it. So I'd sit in the back of their patrol car, and I'm literally locked in. And there's this metal grate between me and the driver, and so they'd ferry me off to class, and they'd glance at me in the rearview mirror. And I feel really embarrassed, because here I am, this outwardly healthy-looking college brat that they just have to, ferry off to her classes, So then I'd hobble into the buildings, right, and I'd often be late to class because the football team would inevitably be using the elevator. I still haven't figured that one out, but so then in class I'd sometimes have to lie on the floor to take notes because my back would be spasming so hard and it was just so painful. So fortunately, my professors were great, and they were like, you know what, do what you need to do, we're going to get you through this. So during school breaks then, I'd see doctors. So my spring break experience was going to the doctor, many doctors, trying to get them in while classes weren't in session. So over the years, I've had dozens and dozens of blood tests, biopsies, MRIs, CAT scans, EKGs, EEGs, spinal taps. So I've seen the endocrinologist, neurologist, psychologist, gastroenterologist, and then finally a rheumatologist. I was 18, still a freshman in college when I got my answer. The test was almost infuriatingly simple. They just touched me here and there throughout my body, testing these tender inflamed points, and it's fibromyalgia. I was so happy. I remember chattering to my father all the way home about how happy I was. If you haven't waited years for a diagnosis and haven't wondered if you're crazy or you're weak or just sensitive, then maybe you won't understand that feeling, but I was so relieved. Those of you that might be good at math or whatever, you might be calculating, I waited 6 years for that moment. And half of that time I wondered if it really was in my head. But that relief soon turned to a really devastating grief, because a quick online search showed me it's not as simple as just getting a diagnosis. It reads, incurable, treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. So, no magic wand, no fixing me, right? And that's the reality for about 10 million Americans with fibromyalgia, and unfortunately my story is not uncommon at all. Those with invisible disabilities often go through years of misdiagnosis or being just written off completely. Many are told, it's all in your head, often by medical professionals even. I stand here on this stage and I'm in front of all of you and I'm sure I look fine, but I'm not, and I probably never will be, realistically. But I haven't stopped trying. I can't, and I refuse to stop living my life, even if it's sometimes very, very hard to continue. In my junior year of college, I reached my lifelong goal of studying abroad 2 times. And thank you. I graduated with honors with a self-design major, learned Japanese, worked at the Smithsonian Institute, lived and worked in Japan for 3 years, joined a Japanese choir and competed in a national competition, and got married to my best friend back there. So, fibromyalgia is obviously not fun to live with. I'm constantly in pain, I'm always exhausted, it sucks, but it has taught me some things. I learned who my real friends are, the ones who will stick with me even when I have to cancel my plans for the 3rd, 4th, literally 5th time. The ones who will just be there even if I need them to come to a doctor's visit, to hold my hand, those people. I learned that I can trust myself and my instincts and to be my own advocate. I learned that I will push a broken body to its limits rather than give up. And that I can get through what feel like insurmountable challenges. I also learned to never, ever assume that someone who looks fine isn't dealing with something enormous. I'll never say that I'm grateful for fibromyalgia. I would never, ever say that. But I am grateful for what I've learned about myself, because I learned I'm strong and I'm a superhero and I'm not giving up. Thank you.